fourth-generation businesswoman and her company, Multifaceted Results, supports up-and-coming CEOs earning six figures to break free from burnout.
Celia is well regarded for her work as a sales team leader, sales team trainer, sales process development expert, and world-class coach. The sales teams that Celia has trained, led, and sold for over the last 2 years have generated over $9.9 million in high-ticket program sales. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. So, are you using LinkedIn to close the deal?
No.
Okay. All right.
No, I'm not using LinkedIn to close the deal.
Okay, so you're a sales expert, and LinkedIn is not the platform to close the sale. What part of the sales process do you use LinkedIn?
Like what many people here have shared today, I've found that it's really effective to share out my content, share out what I'm teaching and training on, share my opt-ins, things like that. And so it's been a tool, like a lead generation tool, where people came to me through LinkedIn, joined my email list, and then ended up booking a consultation with me, asking to connect with me further. So it's just been a great way to get visibility on my brand and messaging and really speak to my ideal client.
Mm-hmm. So you help entrepreneurs dealing with burnout and trying to scale their business. Can you tell me a little bit about that process?
Yeah, so, I mean, I think burnout's always been around, right? But since the pandemic especially, I mean, who here has experienced burnout since in the last 2 years, from being on Zoom, from, being involved with technology a lot more. We've had so many people getting onto Facebook and all of the different platforms. I think there were like millions and millions of people got onto social networks that weren't previously on them during the pandemic. And so what I found as a way to prevent burnout is actually to take time away from technology and to do self-development. So I actually commit, and I know you all are into the self-development, the vitamins for the soul, and so I recommend, now this is me, but I try to do at least 8 hours a week of self-development work, and that's clocked time. So that is reading books, and not business books sometimes, but that doesn't include business development. So I'll distinguish between the two, self-development and business development. But reading, doing mindset work, really filling my cup. And I have found that doing that for myself has made me more productive. And so that is something that I work with my clients as well. Like, hey, let's pull back. Let's get clear on your vision, what you're creating in your world, what you're creating in your business. And so that you can show up in, your full expression of self and not fried out and burned out and, with no energy and nothing to pull and nothing to pour into others with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've used that approach myself, actually.
Mm-hmm.
When I get too tired of working, I'm just spent on giving, because when you're working, you're just constantly giving, and you need something to come back and fill you up a little bit. And I typically go to some type of coaching or self-improvement, anything.
Yep.
And then fill back up and then go back to the work again.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and it's a great way to re-energize yourself, especially if you have been burned out. It's a great way to get yourself re-energized. And I've had multiple burnout cycles in my life. And in the pandemic, I definitely had one last summer, and I actually was doing 24 hours a week of self-development. And it got me right back, and I felt great, and I was ready to go again.
It's awesome.
That is, I love this. This is great.
It gives you permission.
Right?
Yes, give yourself that permission.
Yes.
So what are the key processes you think should be in place for scaling and coaching a training company?
Well, the first thing is that you should have processes.
Should have them.
So it's funny, I was writing a piece of content, you all were talking about the sales funnel and everything, and oftentimes as business owners, you'll be focused on, oh my gosh, what's my next marketing funnel? What's my next, my next lead gen tool? What's my next sales funnel? How do I build that out? And I would actually say that your processes that you have in place are more important than the sales funnel, because the processes are the engine that keep the company running, that keep the business running. running. And that leans back to burnout, right? Because if you're the one that's doing everything inside of your company, then you can never take a day off. You're always the employee inside of your business. So I say the first things are I call them your principles of work aesthetic, and it's really like the processes of how you want your team to produce work and the quality and that you want them to produce it with. And also, your key marketing processes, your key sales processes, communication standards. Really, I would say that there's like 4 or 5 key processes that if you have those in your business, you will notice an immediate change in the performance of your team. Business owners will be freed up with more time, more bandwidth to focus on being in their brilliance and their expertise, which is usually,
creating more processes.
Creating more well, that's right. Mine. I mean, that's not everybody, but yeah.
Yeah, I like the way that you when I was dealing with a business coach, one of the first things that they said was make an SOP for your employees, for yourself, document everything.
Yep.
Because seems to be the only way you can scale is if you have some type of process in place, however that gets documented.
Yeah, I mean, you want those organized and then systemized. I have a colleague that I work with that she's amazing at documenting things, but there's no systemization. So you've got Google Docs and, 500 different folders. And where's that beautiful, piece of work that you created? So you need a systems person to come in and organize it as well, so that everything you have I call it a database or an SOPs library.
SOPs library. I love that one.
Yeah.
Yes. So what are your favorite sales conversion strategies for closing more deals?
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh. I have so many. So my favorite sales conversion strategies. So I would say number 1 is empowering conversations and having great questions in place, and just coming in with excellent questions and then letting your prospect do the lift of the conversation in terms of they should feel like they're the ones that are talking the whole time. Just like coaching, right? Like you ask a question and the person's like processing through their ideas and creating their own transformation, and they're sharing. It's the same thing with sales. The only thing is we are leading them with our questions to make a decision. So I would say having a powerful list of questions that you ask for, or that you ask, and then also just actually asking for the sale. So John, are you ready to get started?
Yes. Yes, I am.
I mean, really, it's that simple. I mean, just closing the loop. So are you ready? Are you ready to get started? Are you ready? Yes. Okay, let's go. Let's put in the credit card. No. Okay, what else? What other questions can I answer for you right now? I mean, it really is that simple.
The process of discovering where they're at, basically.
Yep. And there's so many, I mean, like we're talking about closing, right? But there's so many things that go into having that conversation and getting to the point where you're actually closing. And so that happens on your LinkedIn, and it happens with your content, and happens everything up front, that whole customer experience that leads them to that moment where they're actually like having that conversation. There's, you've kind of made or broken the sale by the time they get to that point. So that's why it's so powerful to be sharing your content, sharing your message, being visible, so that when people come onto that sales call, they have an understanding of your product, your service, and what you do. And if you're waiting to like do your whole product demo when you get on the call, that's a big energy consumption for you. I think I just made up a word. It takes a lot of energy for you as the salesperson or the business owner. So just being mindful of that you're doing as much education about your product and your service and the transformation it provides, so that when they come to the final call or sometimes I like a 2-call close personally, but when they come to that actually closing conversation, they're ready to buy.
That's awesome. So if somebody were interested in working with you, what does that process look like?
Yes, so you can come to my website, multifacetedresults.com, and I have a contact form. You can fill that out. Right now I have 2 levels of services. We work with multiple 6- and 7-figure business owners doing done-for-you sales. So I actually have a team that I bring in, and we actually do provide the sales team, and we will actually close the deals for you and run your whole sales department on your launches or virtual events, sometimes in person as well. We were in Florida in January. And then for my 6-figure business owners, I have a group consulting program that I run where I take them through, like, teaching them the processes and everything. So you can reach me through my website, connect with me on LinkedIn, Celia Faye Meisel. I'm Multifaceted Results on Instagram and Facebook, and just happy to start up that conversation.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Jon and Tracy. This has been super fun.
We do have a page on our website with your name on it.
Awesome.
Kim's going to put that in the chat for everybody to go find it. Do you have anything that you want to offer our guests today? Any events coming up or promotions or anything you want to tell them about?
So on my homepage, I have a wait list. I'm going to be doing transformational training events starting in Q4 of this year. So I have a wait list for that. I have a free gift on my website, 9 mindset mantras for up and coming CEOs, so you can get started on your self-development practice, because the mindset work is so important in creating success.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.